of paper.
Good evening, SRA Nation. Welcome to Division 2's offering of Season 5, Round 1 at Suzuka. We are excited to bring you probably the sweatiest content that SRA has to offer this season. D2 splits are very tight, and I'm excited to be joined in the booth by none other than Evan Kim and Dominic Duran.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back. Been a while since I've been in the booth for a league race, but I know I missed myself. I hope you missed me too. It's good to be here, and looking forward to another one.
Parroting Evan, also good to be here. Looking forward to Season 5. Biggest one yet by a hefty margin.
And by biggest, he means the baddest. We have
Yes, sir.
240 drivers registered in our 6 divisions, which is a large improvement over last season, which had 4 divisions. So we are growing here at SRA, and we are excited to bring you that exciting content today. We had divisions 1, 4, and 5 race yesterday, and today we are looking at divisions 2, 3, and 6. You're going to be seeing Division 2 tonight, and you're going to find Divisions 3 on YouTube, and Division 6 will have highlighted coverage later. You guys, we're racing at the beloved Suzuka. Let's take a look at the track map. Suzuka is a very technical track, and as you can see by the map, there are a lot of very difficult twisty bits here. Specifically the S's through Sector 1, and then you have the hairpin at turn 11. And then Spoon, which is all of turn 13, and then turn 14 is 130R, a very difficult fast left-hander. Dominic, how were you feeling around this track yesterday?
I was feeling pretty spicy, to be honest with you, but a lot of pace once you get into the rhythm of it. This is a huge rhythm track. If you're lacking in top speed, though, it can get kind of frustrating following people because really most of your overtaking opportunities are at the end of the straight. So definitely ran into a little bit of that, but I mean the track, like I said, has great flow, so I was really vibing with it.
Good to know. This is one of the longer lap times in ACC, looking right around the 2-minute mark for the fast boys and girls, and then you have Division 2 probably hanging around an average lap time of a 2:02 if I had to guess. So, speaking of our beloved drivers, let's go on track. Right now you're seeing on screen here Landshark in the Comic Racing BMW here, setting currently his first lap. Can you explain the new qualifying format, Evan?
Got you down, Doug. You might remember us having a 30-minute pit window, or qualifying window. That is gone. We've reduced it down to 20 minutes. So each split, silver will start with a 10-minute window, and then gold drivers will follow for the second 10 minutes. Those that cross the line before the 10-minute mark can finish their hot laps. Anybody that finishes their lap after the 10-minute mark must stop the car and return to pits.
That is going to leave our drivers crunched for time already, as we got a little bit of a later start here as we talked about Suzuka as a whole. We're already at the 15-minute mark, which means the silver split here in D2 is already halfway done with their qualifying. Just like that, they've done an out lap and one valid lap, and they're already halfway done. Dominic, how were you feeling during qualifying? Do you think that the decrease in time built up some extra pressure, or were you comfortable putting it a couple laps in and then calling it a day?
I was actually fairly comfortable with the change. I think last season, and actually all previous seasons where we had 15 minutes, you had a lot of guys who would take um, a few laps worth of fuel and then pit and go out again on a super fresh set of tires. But this time around, I think everybody was just on one set, and everybody was able to fall into their little 10-minute groove. Where I say everybody, I feel like most people were. Um, but yeah, I had no complaints with the shortened time period. I still think we should test the old one lap wonders and make it maybe a 4-minute qualifying, but that's just me.
I'm
That'll
very against that. I'm the type of driver, it takes me a little bit to warm up. And could you do that in the practice session before the race? Sure. But then you got the driver's briefing and getting loaded in just takes you a little bit out of that rhythm. Personally, I think 10 minutes is about as short as I'd like to go. Still have a few laps in it to try to squeeze one out. But I know personally, I don't do well under the pressure of knowing I only have a couple of shots at this. If you take it down to you got one chance, I would crack for sure.
the old
It,
one-shot qualifying. That definitely puts a driver in a bit of a bother, and it rewards drivers that are really well practiced, and but it's a double-edged sword. It's a quick way to have the grid really mixed up and a little bit chaotic at race start. What do you think?
it would be interesting. We would definitely see a shakeup. Maybe those fast guys have an issue, make one little mistake, and all of a sudden they're starting at the back of the grid. Uh, could be interesting. I know, just as a driver, it would be quite frustrating to be that guy that bobbles their one chance. Well, it'd be interesting to try. I'll give it that.
Good deal. So while we're discussing the overall format of our qualifying here, let's look at where we currently stand in terms of lap times. Right now, we have Sir on P1 in a BMW, and their best lap time is a 2-minute flat, basically. And all they have is the best sector 1. Best sector 2 and best sector 3 belong to other drivers, so there's still plenty of time on track. Smalley in a Honda is sitting just 6 tenths behind. So right now, Sir's got a 5.5 tenth gap for pole at the moment. And then you're following Taylor Molyneux, Chilcutt, Michi, Sawyer, Wong, and Lee, Schaefer, and Super Dave, rounding out the top 10 at the moment. As you see Schaefer with the yellow flag, and he's going to go back to the pits there. So he had a little bit of a moment, but that's A-okay. Let's check out another driver who's about to cross the line here, see if they can improve their time. Yep, Michi goes and improves 4 tenths to get to provisional P2. So there's still a lot of pace on track, and we see a varying pace of, like I mentioned, a 2-minute flat to the bottom driver of the silver split at the moment with a 2:03.8. So we're looking at almost a 4-second difference in pace. But I promise you that that's going to narrow quite significantly as these drivers are able to set the laps that are more representative of themselves.
It's also a reminder for the viewers here. This is the silver split, and these guys are encroaching on the 159s, which is kind of nuts.
Definitely hurts my self-esteem a little bit. I ran a 2-minute flat for quali last night, so seeing the D2 silver guys get up in those times, that hurts.
It's humbling, ain't it?
It
Yeah.
speaks to the general skill level of the league. It's really gone up past couple seasons.
It really has. You really got to be on it to just week in and week out. You got to put in the hours, or else, yeah, you're gonna get left in the dust.
Season 1, what do you guys think you'd be putting in?
I remember something like a high 202.
I'm not even gonna venture to guess. I was probably absolute dog water back in the day.
I'm gonna put myself in the same boat. I don't think I'd belong here in D2.
No shot. The only reason we were in D1 back in the day is because that's all we had. But let me tell you, those were the good old days. Fazli in chat is asking where the Porsches are. They are in the gold split. You're going to have Kevin Kovac and Alatufo coming out here momentarily. They have left the pit lane now. You're looking on board with Curtis Lee at the moment, who's one of the few drivers that's still on a valid lap. You're going to find him crossing the finish line here in a minute. And he's going to be setting a time with a 6/10 improvement, which is going to ramp him up pretty high, going from 24th to 15th. Very nice job. And that is his final lap in the hot pink Lexus. Nice job. Other driver to represent here is Peter Reynolds. Currently, well, he was 3/10 up through the hairpin and subsequently lost most of it, but still on a slight improvement. But he'll finish his lap here momentarily. And then we have Pacheniak in the McLaren here, who's going into the final chicane with a 4/10 improvement. Gains another 10th. Currently in P26 with 4/10. He's going to bump himself up a few positions also. 26th to 22nd. Nice job. And like we just mentioned, these silver split drivers are going to have to concede now and head back to the pits, as you see Pacheniak doing now. And all your silver split drivers are done. So now we can go and get on board with someone who's going to set a gold split time, which is going to be, based on data, you'd expect it to be even faster than what we've already seen.
Get ready to feel worse, Evan.
Exactly right. We're already seeing the train form here in the back sector here. Can you guys see who's going to be starting the lap? I think that's number 5, Michael Jeffries. Let's go on board with him, and let's take a gander at a lap here. Let's talk through it. So you're going to be coming into turn 1 carrying a lot of pace, and you have to make sure that you're doing some nice trail braking to keep the car stable, otherwise you will wash out. Right out to the exit curving and right into the S's. Throw the weight of the car around, make sure that the weight transfer is nice and smooth, your throttle application is nice and smooth, and really keep it nice and tight to these curbs to maintain as much momentum and efficiency throughout these curving S's here. And then climbing the hill, it's all about getting the power down as early as possible, which you can hear Jeffries does well. Carrying this momentum up the hill as best as possible, hard on the brakes over the inside curbing to the right. Same exact thing, slowing down even more, carrying momentum out to the outside curbing. Very easy to invalidate there, but he doesn't. And now we have a quick hairpin to the left, which is very tough to get right. Nice and tidy on the inside apex. Nice job, Jeffries, as he accelerates into Spoon, which in my opinion is the hardest part of this track. It is a long and patient double apex. You're going to find hard braking, turn in, commit to the outside, not too far though, the curbing can throw you. Patient on the throttle as you get around this corner and ride it out to the outside. Nice job again. Now it's a straight, so you can gain your bearings back a little bit and show what the car can do. And then you have 130R, a very quick left-hander here. Trust the car, throw it into the corner. The car plants itself firmly on the gas and then hard on the brakes for the final chicane. Hit that braking spot, eat the inside curb, eat the second curb, and on the power gently to get the car rotated back down to the start-finish straight for a lap. And that was a quick time for Michael Jeffries here. What are we looking at as a representative time for him? Puts himself in P10 with a 201 flat. Nice job. Who else is on a good lap right now? We have Paul A. Hartman, who just crossed the start-finish line there with a 201.8, putting himself in 29th at the moment. But again, we're going to see a lot from this driver here. This is a new car for him, the AMR. He's accustomed to driving the McLaren, so we're excited to see what he can muster up this season. Another driver to keep an eye on is Mike Scott from Comic Racing. Beautiful livery from the entire Comic Racing crew. And we are seeing him with a 2/10 improvement at the moment, sitting in currently P34. We already have some love in the chat for the different liveries. We will definitely do a showcase of said liveries on the start-finish grid. Specifically, the Day of the Dead livery is badass, is the call, which is our Porsche boys, Ala Tufo and Kevin Kovac here. Let's take a gander. As you see it pull around the corner here, it is a special livery with the matte white with the cracking texture and all the different Day of the Dead tattoo theme, which is really, really cool.
Great shot.
Yeah, really nice job as he goes through Spoon there. Yeah, the car is a really, really nice job. Really done nicely. And then we have another request to see Russ. No, who was it?
I think we have a request to see the Plan E Racing Ferraris.
We can do that.
No bias.
We can do that. And then Ryan Passage was the other driver requested. Is he in here? Is Ryan Passage in D3?
No, Passage. No, yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you need to go to the
YouTube.
D3 stream on YouTube to find that one. Alright, let's find ourselves a Ferrari, shall we? Who's a Ferrari doing
Why don't you
well?
go to good old Jason Allen?
No doubt. I just clicked on him as you suggested it. He's currently neutral on his lap time, but we can take a nice, healthy dose of this livery that is also a crowd favorite. The Coca-Cola themed Ferrari with Santa there drinking his beloved Coke on the side there.
I noticed something this season about the Plan E Racing team. You guys picked up. You had Jason Allen. You also picked up Russell Allen. So the Josh Allen days might be over, but the Allen days have just begun.
We're currently plotting our next pickup.
Do we have any more Allens in the league?
In the league, no, but we can always recruit externally.
This is true. We also have a request for hot dog liveries, which I think, yep, I found one. Austin Gardner and Kickin' Asphalt.
Oh,
This livery is a mashup of hot dogs and Renaissance art, and if it doesn't make you feel inspired, nothing will. This thing is a work of art.
Generated by AI. It is the modern Michelangelo.
I was going to say the
Work.
Sistine Chapel. I mean, we're
It's
talking Da Vinci levels of detail on this bad boy. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a good shot of it right there. The atrocity, I mean, the beauty that is this food-flavored Renaissance painting. You love to see it.
Look at that sheen.
Yeah, there's something
That
special going on
illustrious
there. If that car sits out too long in the sun, it starts to rot and smell pretty awful. Let's look for some other liveries, shall we? We have Bailey Kish in the Ghost Rider Racing Bendy Brew Audi R8, featuring the team's ghostly color palette this season with the deep purple and lime green, looking good. Now, I want to bring attention to Sir, who set the provisional pole lap at a 2 flat .0, and in the silver split, mind you, and they're still sitting at top at the moment. No one has been able to dethrone them. Crown in a McLaren has gotten pretty darn close, but not enough to get the job done. Smalley, again from the silver split, still holding down P3. And we're looking at Damiani and Kish in P4 and P5 respectively. But the silver split showing up. Out of the top 10, even the top 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers from the silver split. So the gold split has some work to do.
I did some research on the Hot Lap leaderboards, which you can find over at simracingalliance.com.
Plug.
And I am not at all surprised to see Mr. Sir up there. His time in the leaderboards was just blistering. Man, he did a 2-minute flat here tonight. If I'm not mistaken, he has more in the tank. So if he gets off with a pole position here, he might be gone in the race. It's going to be tough to catch him.
Well, right now we're on board with Crown, John Crown. He is currently on the back straight, and he is nursing almost an identical lap time to what he has before. If he can gain even the slightest bit of improvement, He's only 200ths off of Sir. And right now he's got 400ths. We're talking very narrow margins. Gained a tenth through there. Over the curbing, 2/10. This is the pole lap right here as he crosses the line. Pending some absolute carnage. This is going to be your pole lap right here. This is going to be a sub 2-minute lap time in D2, which is just... Evan, my feelings are hurt.
Yep, he beat me.
Yep, Crown puts in a 1:59.965, and that was the final lap of his qualifying. So when it was time to put up or shut up, he put up, and that's the best time to do it. Everyone else on track is lacking some improvement, apart from Kovac here, which is again the Day of the Dead themed Porsche, showing the love here. He is one of the last drivers on valid lap, along with Matt Morrison, but Matt Morrison is hemorrhaging time. But Kovac is finding it as he goes a little deep into the final corner there. He loses all of his time by going a little bit too deep. A little greedy on the brakes, costs him his improvement. And a 2/10 improvement would have gained him at least 8 positions. So that just goes to show just how close all this is.
That's a pretty healthy spread across qualifying. We got
Yep.
the whole field is within 2 seconds of each other.
Yep. And between pole and P23, all within a single second of each other. That is an incredible, incredible job from the grouping here. And as you see, Matt Morrison is the last car in his Lexus, Yeetco Logistics, crossing the line here. And that is the final piece to our qualifying puzzle. All right. So what are your guys' thoughts on how all of that went?
Well, I was talking Mr. Syrup as running away with it. I guess maybe Crown's the one we need to look out for. Otherwise, I'm seeing a lot of familiar names up here at the top. I know Smalley's fast. Damiani's been around. Kish, another one that I'm not surprised to see up there in the top 5. Couple of surprises further along down the order here. I recognize some names that I thought had some more for us here. Might have to turn on the jets in the race. It's going to be interesting. I think the midfield fight tonight. There's like we said, there's not a lot of time separating the qualifying pace here, so I'd expect these guys to be battling for quite a while in the midfield. It's going to be a bloodbath in there.
Duran,
As long as they keep it clean for our stewarding team.
Something tells me that that's a personal personal
No bias.
aspect there, yeah. That's
It's
two
for the
things you've had
boys,
some
you know?
bias. 2 times you've issued bias in this this broadcast already. So, are there any outliers that you see in the current scoreboard right now as we see the grid lineup here?
Peter Reynolds in P43. We're gonna have a chat later.
Oh boy, we went subterranean. There we go.
Other than that, I mean, we're seeing a lot of guys who were running D3 last season and are now in D2 because they obviously were pretty successful. And I think it's a case of, I don't want to say big fish, small pond, but they are in a bigger pond now, and now you're going to see them fighting in the midfield, which is not where they're typically used to racing, but it's going to be super interesting seeing how they navigate that.
It's a humbling experience going from the top of what was D3 to now the very bottom or midfield of D2. And there's plenty of instances of that. We had some drivers that found a lot of success in other areas of the league and have now been promoted. And they have found a lot of competitive pace. So as the grid dries off here, I think that we're in store for a very exciting D2 race here.
early picks on who's going to win?
That's a damn good question. Evan, I'll let you speak to it first.
Oh, I got two things working against me: the division shakeups that we just talked about, as well as the pit window changes that we've made for this season. They our beloved 10-minute window has gone away, and we now have a 40-minute pit window. So there might be some shakeups with the strategy. I know last night we saw there were multiple different options that worked. So absolutely anything can happen. I'll take the easy way out and pick our pole sitter, Mr. Crown, to take the win tonight, but it could be anybody's. I have no idea.
I think that Sir has this race in the bag. I think Crown's going to find some trouble with the McLaren and some tire degradation throughout the race. The BMW is just too stable of a platform to have long-term issues. But what I'd like to see is the likes of Damiani and Bailey Kish put a nice race together and finish in the top 5 where they are starting at the moment. Both drivers have the tendency to have mid-race mishaps, and you hate to see it. So I'd love to see a good finish for the both of them. But to Evan's point, we saw a pretty wide variety of pit strategies yesterday, varying from people diving as soon as the pit lane opened, diving in, and then contrasting. Evan, you were the last person to literally pit at the last possible moment.
Yep, I went in with maybe 25 seconds left on the clock.
I think I went in with 25 seconds into the pit open window, so the contrast was there, and he and I finished only a couple places away from each other. So goes to show that it really doesn't matter what your strategy is. It's just, I think the ultimate recommendation is that drivers need to pit when it's the most efficient for them, and what saves them the most time on track. Yeah, and Fazley in chat says that he went in sideways. I can attest that Fazley had the most unique pit entry of the evening, and definitely had an artistic style about it.
No thanks to the Merc, which, funny enough, we actually don't have any Mercs here on the grid that I can see tonight.
Oh, we do. We have Lee,
do.
Flo,
There they are.
Petrovich, Toddy, Johnson, Roger.
Oh, that's where they are. They're all camping at the bottom
They're
of the
all in
leaderboard.
P27 and lower. Yeah. But
Boys,
it's a tough drive. It's a tough car to drive.
100%. They have the BOP on their side here, but it comes at a cost.
The Merc is a sketchy car to wield, but something tells me that they'll manage. But we are rounding the final couple corners here to get to the start-finish straight. And I'm hoping and praying for a clean first Sector 1, and then after that, I will relinquish the reins and let everybody have their argy-bargy. But yes, Sector 1 clean. Fingers are crossed.
I'm way ahead of you there. I hope we don't see any carnage here. I hope everybody can see past the first lap here. We got 8 races this season. No need to ruin it all in the first lap. I know these guys are itching to race hard, though.
No kidding. And as we go, green, 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 we are pushing hard already. 3 wide into turn 1. Little argy-bargy right off the bat. The drivers are getting away fine, though. Several people swapping positions. Crown and Sir getting away, but they are side by side. The rest of the grid's looking A-okay. How are we looking a little bit further back, Evan?
Not too bad. I think there were a couple small yellow flags thrown, but seems like everybody's still in line.
Boardman is having a detrimental moment. He just fell like 12, 15 positions, but I don't see anyone off track on the mini-map here.
Yep, we're looking all clean thus far.
That makes a happy steward. But these cars are nose to tail as you see them just sequence through all the corners. Crown holds down P1. Sir following closely into the braking zone of the hairpin. Cars are rounding swiftly. Alex Chilcutt gets ahead of Kish throughout this first sequence here, but they're still right next to each other. Drivers are being relatively patient with one another. I see some side-by-side action in the hairpin there, but ultimately these drivers are doing a great job. Very clean lap one.
I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, this is good stuff.
We will see some carnage into 130R on lap one. Cold tires, heavy fuel. I am just waiting to see if we have a moment. All good so far. Heavy braking into the final chicane. The leaders get through fine. The other significant grouping of cars just continuing to slot through. Alatufo gets passed by Paul A. Hartman into the final braking zone, but overall, again, a clean sequence of cars getting through. Watts gets past Landshark. Landshark looks like he had a moment in the final chicane there, but again, everyone's super clean. And at the front, Mr. Sir gets passed by Jay Crown and is now holding down P1. Again, the cars are just filing through Sector 1 in the S's here. Very clean, and the pace, everyone knows the tail. There's not a single gap across the entire 44 car grid that's outside of a second at the moment. They're all right on top of each other.
Yeah, if this is any indication of how the rest of the season is gonna go, this is the division to watch.
It's gonna be spicy.
Yeah.
Oh, and as we spoke too soon, Alex Chilcutt has a moment into the hard braking zone of the fast right-hander, but he just slots back in after having a little brief moment with the wall there, sorts himself back out, and everyone seems to be A-okay. Not a big deal. Only loses 3 positions when the cars are this close. That is an absolute blessing. Going a little bit further back, you can see the cars are still just filing through the hairpin here. Everyone seems to be on their best behavior. Right now, DJ Watts holds the fastest lap, but that's going to be changing here soon as people are putting their fastest laps together. Damiani loses a position going side by side with Smalley on the back straight. This is going to be brave here on 130R. Who's going to take it? Bold.
Bold. Had a little moment.
That's a track cut. You only get a handful, so use them wisely. I guess that was a good opportunity to do it, but Smalley does get the move done on Damiani. Damiani is looking to push into the first corner here. The first sequence is very tough.
That little fight between those two is letting Crown and Sir run away in the front. They're pulling a almost 1.5 second gap now.
You're not wrong. And then the gap between Crown and Smalley is nearing 3 seconds. So the battle ensues. But we have Taylor Molyneux and Colin Shea swapping positions. That's for 10th and 11th. But again, as you see here, and you can look at the minimap, everyone is still in tandem with one another. Only T. Johnson in P44 is 3 seconds back from the grid. Everyone else is still nursing that near 1 second gap. This is incredible.
I am like jaw on the floor right now with how closely these guys are following.
This is better than D1.
It is much better.
D1 drivers were scrapping. These guys are pushing it.
We gotta take notes for sure.
We spoke too soon. The hairpin has a moment.
Oh, the Ferraris! No.
Let's take a gander.
It can't have been that. It just wasn't them. It wasn't their fault.
Michael Jeffries comes in here, and I see a car drive through, has a horrible re-entry, and then takes out several cars in the process. I want to say that was a Day of the Dead Porsche from what I could tell, but I don't want to speculate. But that was definitely brutal occurrence there. Influenced 4 or 5 different drivers. further up the grid again. Mr. Sir has nursed a 2-second gap ahead of Crown for P2, and Smalley 3 seconds back. But Smalley is leading a little bit of a train, as Navarro has a moment too, going a little bit yellow into the. Actually, it might have been Navarro. No, who is this? Yeah, Al Latufo was the Porsche that I thought it could have been in question there, but Navarro in the Coca-Cola Ferrari able to collect himself after a yellow flag in the final chicane there.
That's a spicy
Quinceras
spin.
got tagged in turn 1, found himself sideways. That is a bad spot to find yourself parked.
And Damiani had a moment also. You have a replay? I have Damiani here. Oh, just totally goes off track. Really bizarre there.
The vets are losing it.
Yep. Relatively safe re-entry there. So pushing on. Lost 5 positions for doing so, but that's okay. Keep driving, my guy. Lucas Quinceras finds himself in P42 after his moment. Evan, did you get any inkling as to what happened?
Yeah, he ran it side by side into turn 1, and just a little too close. I couldn't tell exactly if he drifted out wide or if the car on the outside came down on him. It all happened so fast, but either way, he found himself facing backwards and had to let the rest of the field through. Oh, rough luck there for Lucas, but hopefully he can start clawing back.
I swear he's got to dig deep, start getting the bows out. We got 52 minutes.
Alex Chilcutt falls another 5 positions. What happened here?
Classic Honda liftoff oversteer. Not quite.
Yeah, you're right. Yep, through the latter portion of Spoon, just a big old drift that may be a result of his previously collected damage, but safe rejoin and on his way once again. But his tires have got to be cooked at this point. But slots into P13, so... I mean, Duran, if you have 2 incidents at the beginning of a race, only 9 minutes in, and you're still rocking P13, you're probably pretty happy about it.
It's definitely it's pretty fortunate. I mean, especially with how closely these guys are running, and how we enforce safe rejoins. There's not huge windows to come back onto the track. So, I mean, it's definitely lucky that he didn't lose more than that.
For certain. Basley's asking if I can say sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit in Japanese if Sawyer loses it at 130R. Well, first and foremost, I need to be aware that Sawyer loses it. But what I can tell you is that I don't know how to say that in Japanese, but I will give you the patented accent for you if that's what happens. So we'll take.
I can try to look it up.
If you want to butcher a foreign language and potentially say some, obscenities or something, be my guest.
I will be your guest. I'll keep my eyes on Sawyer.
Yep. And Coadromo has asked for Sawyer as a request, so we're showing him. He's currently 1 second back from Gardner and nursing a 2.5 second gap to the car behind. So he is chilling right now, pushing through the back portion of Spoon, really looking to close in this gap. And as we say that, the pit window opens. This may be opportune time for several drivers to slot in and get some clean air by pitting. Let's take a firm look at the pit board here, making sure. And there you go. You have Sawyer right all over the back of Gardner. And Sawyer does go in early. So there's your answer, Coadromo. He is pitting early. And we have a moment on the back chicane between Botella and Roger. Let's take a look back here, 15 seconds. It looks like it was even before the final chicane. What happened? Oh, my goodness. Botella had an absolutely a big moment, put in the spin cycle. We didn't catch the full extent of that, but that looked brutal. limp your way, yep, right into the pit lane. Smart opportunity there. The whole second half of the grid is in the pits, though. That's going to be a whole sequence of battles later. But checking into P1 here, my prediction of Mr. Sir in the BMW reigns supreme, a 4-second gap in P1. And then you have Jay Crown in the McLaren still holding down P2. And Smalley, 5 seconds back, is leading his own little train here. Let's take a look over the back of the wing here. I've already heard some people complaining about the word shenanigans in chat, so let's just feature it one more time. We have Kish and Wong firmly in the tow of Mr. Smalley here.
No, and that's a 3-piece tandem of Ghost Rider racing cars, all in different models there. The Honda, Audi, and BMW all keeping pace with each other.
All I know is that Bailey Kish is the CEO, president, and owner, principal of Ghost Rider Racing. And do you think that that type of leverage is going to ask for team orders?
It seems like they're not really tripping over themselves too much, but he does maybe have the power to call somebody off here.
Well, he nearly planted a fat one on the back of Smalley's bumper here, and they are going nearly side by side into the turn 1 there. Yeah, the threesome here is just all over one another.
I'm gonna put in the bet that they're gonna enforce team orders for sure.
They have to. Joe Wong's being held up a bunch by Bailey. Bailey's being held up by Smalley. But it's kind of like what we were experiencing yesterday, Evan, where we're all similarly paced, but we're all having a hard time racing each other efficiently. So maybe the play is to not do team orders, but to pit to get out of each other's way.
The only issue is if they're all racing right now, they have nobody race engineering for them, so they have no idea where they're going to come out.
Sometimes you just gotta send it.
100%. It's all a guessing game.
Sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it works. We'll depart from this trio here as you see even more Ghost Rider Racing drivers a little bit further back, which is just, there's just so many of them. And we're going to go to the likes of Alda Tufo, currently harassing Paulie Hartman and being harassed by Michael Jeffries. Oh, Chris Stefik wants to see Peter Punterino Reynolds. Let's take a gander at him too. Unfortunately, I have to scroll a little bit down. Well, before I do that, I'm going to check out Lucas Clenzeris. He was yellow flagged here for a moment. I'm guessing this is just Honda things. Yep. Didn't go back far enough, but Lucas finds himself absolutely wrecked on the side of the road. Backs onto the track, which is a little questionable. Duran, I want you to take note of that. And we will take a gander at that later. But yeah, definitely want to pull onto the track, not back onto it. But regardless, let's take a peek at Peter Reynolds here. Currently finds himself kind of in no man's land. 3 seconds behind Polyak of P36 and 10 seconds ahead of Boardman. But he has pit, so clean air, just put your best laps in now, my guy, and grind out some efficiency here. And potentially win some from drivers that pit much later than you. Get after it. And speaking of other drivers that pit, Paulie Hartman just dove into the pits there. And then other drivers that are battling for their lives. We have Super Dave on the back of Nathan Schaefer here. And being harassed by Kovac and crew behind of Curtis Lee and Ron Flo. There's a big sequence of cars here. Wonder wants to see the Bailey Kish, CEO of Benny Brew. We'll check in on him in a little bit. Chris Defik says clean air here is going to go a long way for tire life. Go Peter. I couldn't agree more. Drivers found a lot of success with that in other divisions, so I think that that's the play. Get out of the the air, out of the traffic, and find yourself some space on track. Nathan Schaefer here getting tracked down. Evan, what are you looking at the moment?
On Curtis Lee here, he was closing the gap to Kovac ahead, but that Porsche I think is just so strong through Spoon. See if he can close the gap up. I know the Lexus has that power advantage. If he gets a good run on Kovac here out of the chicane, he might be able to drag race him down into turn 1.
Michael
Oh, and Kovac dips out.
Yep, nice. And that Michael Jeffries also dips into the pits. And you can see the train of cars that are still forming here on track. There is a fat line of cars going down the first straight into turn 1 here. As previously requested, we're going to take a gander at Mr. Bailey Kish here, still leading a train, attacking Smalley in front, you can see, but he still has the Ghost Rider Racing of Joe Wong. Now he's got Kreska and Michi behind, so the train is a foreman, and behind Michi is Damiani and Taylor Molyneux, so Bailey Kish is becoming some kind of train conductor here.
Although, interestingly enough, their last lap, how long is that train? 4 or 5? I think their last lap, each and every one of them, it was their fastest of the race.
I see that. That's pretty
So
unique.
The train is picking up pace.
The train is a moving, and they're using each other's toe to set some crazy pace. Good on the gang. However, Mr. Sir in P1 has the best lap of the race with a 2:08, which is nearly a full second faster than the other second best lap. That just goes to show the dominance right now.
Yeah, that guy's a problem.
I'm sensing, can you feel it? Daihi's data coming to rear its ugly head after this one.
Well, I guess you can't catch them all.
A lot of newcomers in the league are going to be re-slotted after their first couple of races, just to continue to protect the integrity of each individual division. We're seeing some Ghost Rider on Ghost Rider action here. Bailey having to defend from a teammate is a unique concept here. Do you think they're in comms right now just screaming at each other? What's the story?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it shows so much in the S's when you're being held up by someone. I think Evan said it yesterday at some point. You know, you just feel like you're coasting through the whole thing, and it's just it feels so bad.
If you lift at some of the parts of this track, your car wants to actually slide off track. So not only are you losing pace, but you're also increasing inherent risk. Yeah, Chris Steffik's got the right idea. I think Mr. Sir is going to find himself in D1 for certain. And then Patches O'Houlihan says that the Ghost Rider Racing post-race chat's going to be spicy. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. At the back of this train is Taylor Molyneux, another Ghost Rider Racing driver. Bailey Kish's specific teammate. So the caboose of the train and the conductor of the train are the same on the same team. But more importantly, Jay Crown had a yellow flag and he was sitting in P2. What happened? Patented spoon spin out right here. Yep, collects the wall. Duran, how do you save a spin like that? A lazy spin?
I mean, it looked like his exit was going to be clean, and then it just, I don't know, 60% of the way through the exit, it just left him. I wouldn't, I mean, you could put in counters here, but I think that thing was gone.
It looks like he just kept his foot planted, and the traction control just said, all right, have your way with it.
Yeah, TC definitely pieced out there.
Yeah, you hate to see it. We're checking back into the front here because I can't get away from this battle. Smalley P3, Kish P4, Wong P5, and the rest keep falling in. More shenanigans here in store. Everyone's just in one giant train. from P3 all the way down to P9. And then I'm hoping Evan is covering the battle for the mid-pack around P20. Lee and Fredrickson just pitted and got out of the train that was forming there. The rest of the grid's pretty far spread out. All these drivers have subsequently pit. So now you're finding that half the grid has pit and the other half hasn't. And they're in two unique groups now, covering this, spanning almost the entire track. Chris Duffik is feeling good in the chat today. He says the Crown is just delaying his D1 promotion with a purposeful moment like that. That's some big brain stuff, bro.
Ooh, getting real close in the pit.
Yep.
3.
Similar to this group we were just looking at, Kreska just went nearly side by side with Wong through the hairpin and then around Spoon, chasing him down. This train is getting very impatient. I'm surprised that we haven't seen more drivers just succumb to the situation and pit to get away from this. As we see a dive down the inside, I think that was Michi on Kreska. Michi nearly took Kreska out, and Kreska says, "I'm out of this. I don't want any part of this business," and dives into the pits along with Wong and Crown. All smart moves. Wong was definitely be slowed down by his teammate Kish there, so good on you to keep going. That promotes Bailey Kish to P3 and the rest of the gang up one slot as well. Other part of the grid here, we have Robbie Toddy pushing against Petrovic in the Mercedes in front, and then we have Fire Queso behind. Let's take a look here. A lot of cars slotting into the pits, changing the sequence here. Evan and I had the same idea. We're following the same group here.
I've been catching a little of Robbie Toddy. He's been close on making a move on Petrovic, but just not quite enough to get actually past him. And they're close.
And you're looking at them side by side through the final chicane action there.
Yeah. Well, Matt Morrison.
That is dummy close right there, buddy. There's a threesome there going side by side. I'm in the helicam as you're in the bumper here. Side by side. Oh, and we caught it. We caught it here. Nick Wagner gets pushed off track by Alex Chilcutt there. Definitely a racing incident, forcing his way down the inside of turn 1. But Nick Wagner says, "I'm not going away anytime soon." His POV's in the pip, and he's hungry to get that position back.
Got to be a little amped up after that one. Got to earn it back.
The hot dog Lexus is going to be cooking. You can be throwing hot dog water at the guy to make him slip up if you can.
Oh, a
has a
mistake
moment
there from Wagner.
Yeah, pushing a little bit too hard, driving close, but now he's under duress from Lee behind, going side by side. This is a worst case scenario for Wagner. Oh, Lee's very respectful, but Lee is now going to be passed by Navarro for being too respectful to Wagner. Again, these guys are going side by side now. This is exciting. Navarro backs out and lets Lee get ahead. Is that how Plan E drivers are coached? Think smarter, not harder?
You know, I'll claim to have taught them all the positive habits, and all the negative habits is just baggage they've brought with them. Currently working on eliminating that.
Just baggage.
It's just baggage.
You hate to see it. Yeah, all the drivers are definitely falling in sequence now.
Gartman's got to run on Hartman coming to turn 1.
Fire Queso dives into the pits from what was P23. The front of the grid is still on top of each other. It is narrowing, but they are on top of each other still. Super Dave also putting some crazy pressure on Curtis Lee here. The pink Lexus of Curtis Lee.
Shout out to Curtis for staying faithful to the Lexus.
Curtis formed an entire conglomerate around the Lexus. He loves it so much.
I mean, is this the 5th season he's run it?
He ran the Bentley.
Oh, that's right.
For the BBC conglomerate, and then correct me if I'm wrong. He did another car, not the Lexus, a second time, but I don't recall, so I'm not going to speculate. But
I apologize, Chris.
to your point, he loves his Lexus. What am I looking at right now? I see 3 wide on the timing
What is
sheet.
this madness?
Oh baby,
Door
we're looking
banging.
special.
Oh boy.
We're looking something
Oh,
spicy.
boy. Oh, boy.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, more door banging!
That was
Oh,
Damiani
that's so
Michi and
unfortunate.
Doug Lee. Oh my goodness, Damiani right in the thick of it. That's about as close as it gets there. My goodness. I need to see that again. Need to see that again. We're gonna catch it from a different angle. Man, that's about as close as it gets right there. All 3. Oh, the beamers come together and Damiani just survives.
Oh, yellow flag for Smalley.
I see that. I'm going back 15 seconds. Let's take a gander. Remember that Smalley was at one point in P3 in the Honda. What happened? Just Honda things, I suppose. Okay, well, can't verify what exactly happened to the man, but he's now found himself in P11. Back up front, Damiani's still pressuring Michi after that coming together, parting the ways of the BMW. Another yellow flag. We have Gardner. What's happening here? Oh, hot on up the inside.
Bold send.
Yeah, a little bit brave on the brakes and bumped Paul A. Hartman off to the side a little bit, but does concede the position like a true gentleman. Another great battle here. Fickert attacking Pacheniak from P40 to P39. We have battles all up and down the grid. These guys have both pit, so this is for valid position. Listen to this Lexus howl. Oh, Pacheniak has a moment. Dustin is attacking. Get after it.
He's going to try on the outside. Oh, but he just runs over the curb and gets a little unsettled himself.
Yeah, I think he has a good run.
I think the window's gone.
He can nurse this. Oh, Smalley picks up a stop-go 30, speeding in the pit lane. That's how you ruin a good race. Having a moment on track and then not collecting yourself for pit entry. Oh, we're definitely getting a pass done here. Yeah, listen to it. Fickert putting that V8 power down, baby. And we're going side by side. He gets the job done before we even get to 130R. That Lexus is fast. Pacheniak says, hold the phone, though. And both drivers slot in. Nice job. Fickert getting the job done. Peter Reynolds is attacking also. I think that's what you're looking at right now, Evan, is it not?
And it seems like Johnson's really holding him up in front here.
I'm looking over the wing of Johnson in the Mercedes. He's got Peter Reynolds and Eric Boardman right there in the shot here. You love to see this. These are battles that are just all over the grid. So I'm going to bail on this one, and I'm going to go pick up Bailey Kish, Paul A. Hartman, and Austin Gardner, all in a big train here.
So Kish Pitt, this is and he came out behind these two guys. So if these guys are any less pace than he does, it's gonna hurt his chances of ending up on the podium, because that podium, or at least that fight for third, was definitely tight.
Here's the issue though, Duran. All these drivers have pit already, so he's behind them on track.
Oh, really?
I think that his battling wasted so much time on track that he lost positions to all these other drivers that were more efficient with their time.
That's the beauty of strategy, I guess.
Yep.
The cruel beauty. We love the 40-minute pit window. I think it's definitely been a successful trial.
Here we go. Oh, Boardman and Peter Reynolds catching each other in turn one. Oh, and Boardman's waiting for Pete to get going again.
Like a
We
gentleman.
like to see that.
That makes us a lead steward very happy.
Whole lot of kings in this race tonight.
Speaking of kings, we have Petrovich and DJ Watts here attacking Robbie Totti. The threesome here still getting after it. Robbie Totti was able to get past Petrovich off the camera here that we missed it, but they are going to be pushing it.
All the mercs grouped together.
Like a little family. And one peels off to go to the pits there. Nice job. So we will go elsewhere. Right now we can check in with our leader. Mr. Sir has yet to pit. All of top 13 drivers have yet to pit. And you're finding that Mr. Sir has a 23-second gap over P2, which is just despicable. And then in P2 we have Taylor Molyneux, who is currently battling Michi in what looks like a colossal, strange battle between cars here. I think these are back markers in the way. Makes things a little bit more difficult for the gang here. Because you have Michi attacking. Yeah, Michi's attacking. He's a second behind Taylor Molyneux in front there. The rest of these drivers are back markers for them, so they have to navigate traffic on top of everything else. This is where you're going to start to see people really hone in on whether they need to pit or not. Hammer and TV requested Doug Lee, so let's take a peek here. Currently sitting in P5, pressuring Michael Scott in front. He has yet to pit, but is definitely eager to continue to put the power down in this BMW of his. Elects to go again. Oh, Jason Allen has a moment. Evan, show us the business.
Where's he at?
P8. What
It was a
happened,
quick
man?
yellow.
Go back here.
Oh, it was
Oh, was it in 130R?
certified tire cooker.
And he goes into the pits. I can see it after the replay here. Yeah, he catches the grass before it even enters 130R. Oh no!
No!
He turned a moment into a moment.
Yeah, he's definitely going to want to fix that right away. No surprises he came in after that.
Big yikes indeed. But Doug Lee finds himself in P3 at the moment. He still has to pit though, so that is a large asterisk on his podium at the moment. Let us know who you want to see in chat. You can request it with channel points there like these other fantastic people are doing. Another battle of brewing is Super Dave on Curtis Lee. This has been going on for a bit. go on the back of Curtis Lee here and look over the back of this screaming Lexus. I'll listen to this thing all day. I think I'm going to record the audio track of the engine of this Lexus and then use it as a means of like a noise machine for when I go to bed.
I don't know if you're gonna
Old
get sleep.
strategy, Cotton.
I'm just going to be so aroused I'll never be able to go to bed.
Wet dreams, man. Wet dreams.
All right, Michael
Jeffries
Jeffries.
5. Fire up the shake cam. I got him in the small screen right now, hunting down Kreska. McLaren on McLaren.
Following up with Doug Lee, a grouping of cars have all entered. That's Mike Scott and Doug Lee there, and Smalley from P39. Lee closes the gap, literally 1/10 behind Michael Scott there. That is going to be a very, very tight battle leaving the pit exit here. It's all a matter of who executes the pit better. I want to stay on board to give a showcase of how a good pit strategy can elevate you. And as you can see the difference there, both drivers pretty much nail it. They land right next to one another. I want to see here Lee and Scott. Lee was stopped for 7 seconds. Scott was stopped for 6. So that's what the difference is right there. And Scott able to maintain his position on track because of a more efficient pit stop. And they're going to continue battling right outside of the pit window, which is sketchy considering that if you pit, your tires are going to cool off and you're going to have much less traction. We have Patches O'Houlihan requesting Molyneux. I'll definitely get there. And Brain Bunker asking, where's Wong going to slot in once everyone pits? That's a tough question. Duran, if you had to guess, where Wong's going to slot in, where would you say? Because right now...
Joe Wong?
Yep, Joe Wong sitting in P8 at the moment. The rest of the drivers have in front of him have yet to pit. So the question is, where is he going to fill in?
Oh, I see. Okay, so if ideally you're losing about 38 seconds in a pit, so if I had to guess, I would say he's slotting in. Wow. Actually, he's coming in front of all these guys.
That's the big question, right?
Is that math right? P2?
That's what I'm thinking. I think that he was more efficient with his time, pitting earlier than everybody else. Got the hell out of Dodge.
I think he's looking like a P2 contender here.
Could be a good shot. Another driver requested his Molyneux. Let's take a look. Molyneux is chilling right now. He came out in front of Mike Scott and Doug Lee, the battle we were looking at previously. He is 1.5 seconds back from the next battle in front, which is Michi and Shea. But Michi and Shea are keeping each other up, so Molyneux should be able to close that gap relatively quickly if he's putting in valid times. And actually, Super Dave elects to pit too, so all these drivers I just mentioned just gained another position. But Joe Wong is putting some pressure on Robbie Toddy now, which is going to be... Yep, as we see, Robbie Toddy has a moment and collects crown behind. Oh no. Let's take a look. Robbie Toddy going through the S's, just minding his own business. Has a Mercedes moment, spins out, and yeah, unfortunately, Crown has a moment while passing a moment because of the distraction. That's so frustrating. But Wong able to slot into P6 because of the moment there from the Mercedes of Robbie Toddy.
Wong is going to have a healthy lead over P3.
That's what I'm thinking. Right now we're looking at Mr. Sir has a 38-second gap over P2 at the moment, which, again, little sus. And that P2 spot right now belongs to Al Latufo. And then 3 seconds back is Russell Allen. And then 7 seconds back is Curtis Lee. So those drivers all have to commit soon. And that's Alatufo pitting. That looked like it was a little hot on entry, guys.
Uh-oh.
That is going to be a fingers crossed moment for him, I'm sure, as he slammed on the brakes to see if he was going to make it in time. Oh boy, I'm going to keep it on him just to see, because right now the battles are, they're there, but we're nursing them.
Oh, here we go. Crown's under fire now from Michi. Mert Michi.
Going
Oh,
into
you're saying.
T1, not leaving him very much room on the outside. They keep it clean.
All right, Al is leaving the pit. Tell me he didn't get it.
Fingers crossed in the chat for Al. If not, press F.
I haven't seen anything yet.
Looks like.
He's a little bit further down the grid though, so we'll check in here. Let's see.
Nope, he made it out clean.
Okay, good. That was very close for the man. Good on him. Something I want to bring attention to, which just breaks my heart. Landshark, currently sitting in last place, P40. 2 laps down from the leader. My man has had an absolute nightmare of a race. But what I want to point out is that he's still racing. And you know which position is the last position on grid to get a point in the championship?
E40, baby.
P40, baby. This man is getting a point if he finishes this race. Good on him. But let's get back to this epic battle. We have Colin Shea putting some crazy pressure on Preska. But right now we're looking at Jay Crown. And he is being absolutely harassed by Michi, Molyneux, and Scott behind. And right now, the only 2 drivers that need to pit, to my knowledge, are Russell Allen and Curtis Lee, currently sitting in P2 and P3. Otherwise, everyone's pit. Oh man, it's getting spicy in here. The BMW brakes are so much better than McLaren, so he closes up the gap so well into that final chicane. Drummo begging for more people to contribute their channel points to forcing us to speak in funny accents. That might have to wait till next week, Drummo. Sorry, bud. That just means that I'll have to be joined in the booth by Evan and Duran a second time. Because I know Duran has a killer accent that he can share with all of you. Evan, what are you watching?
Terrible timing there. Fire Queso just went in a little too hot on that outside line, and he must have lost 4 or 5 spots there from doing a 360 there in the AstroTurf. He was following so closely. I think he got a little spooked in the braking zone for the chicane and just overcooked it.
You hate to see it.
Now he's got Peter Reynolds doing a Tokyo drift entry there through the first corner. And now he's gonna have Peter Reynolds on cooler tires. I bet you Fire Quesos are just fire right now from spinning up the rears to get facing the right way again.
Pun intended, I hope.
It was intended. I feel like it didn't hit as hard as I thought it would.
I liked it. But speaking of liking some hard racing between Michi and Molyneux, as Michi slots in behind, there is some crazy battles here. Side by side, a little bit of door banging, but they're making it through A-OK through some really tough action here. Side by side through Spoon is not a pleasurable experience, I can promise you. So the guys are making it look good. Russell Allen finally pits. He's one of the last people to do so. I think the last person on track is Curtis Lee. Let's see how long he waits. And yeah, the Latufo pit got him slotted back into P13, but still a really good performance so far. from the man. And actually that just puts him to P12 now. But Kreska is leading this train. He's got Colin Shea and Jay Crown behind, and then Molyneux's handling his own train with Michi and Scott behind. Duran, you mind sharing our biggest winners and biggest losers at the moment?
I was actually just checking that. It looks like we got Matt Double T Morrison with 15 gain positions. We got DJ Watts with
DJ Watts.
DJ Watts!
18 gained positions, and we have, let's see, Jay Polyak. I'm sorry, I don't know your first name, buddy, but 14 gained positions. Okay, and then our biggest losers. Oh boy, do we have some big ones.
Oh.
Mr. Eric Boardman, 24 spots down.
Yikes.
Mr. Jason Allen, 14 spots down and removed from Plan E Racing.
Oh no. Jason, we will pick you up. And I will let you put
Chilcutt.
Rodney on your car.
Oh, don't take that offer, Jason. He's lying.
I will do it. I'm ready.
Oh man. And then our last biggest loser is Mr. Chilcutt in the 65 Honda. He's dropped 21 positions.
You can't tell me Landshark hasn't fallen that far, has he? Where is he?
Mark has only dropped 6 positions.
Oh, so he had a rough qualifying too. Okay.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Well,
But that's all right. We got another 7 weeks.
bingo.
Long season.
Well, right now we're looking on board with Kevin Kovac. He's putting some crazy pressure on Russell Allen, a Plan E Racing Ferrari, and all of them are putting some pressure on Bailey Kish in front. As you see Curtis Lee pit and exit the pit, falling from P2 to P17. P8, P19 now, excuse me.
Sure enough, Mr. Joe Wong, P2, by he's got about what 7 seconds to the car behind.
6.5, yep, and growing. But the battle for P3 is definitely not solved yet. Kreska is being hounded by Colin Shea, so that is still yet to be decided. But Mr. Sir is 22 seconds, well, 21 seconds clear of P2. And I'm pretty sure he's driven himself right into a D1 slot. Congratulations.
Surprise there.
Mission
Oh,
failed
Pete's. Oh no.
Give me a replay.
Getting all loosey
What
goosey.
happened here? Oh, he just Oh, and he hooked on that curb.
That's just Ferrari
Oh,
stuff.
no.
Man. Just Ferrari things. Once the Ferrari bottoms out, she gone.
And Peter is still stopped on the track. This might be the end of Peter's race here.
Everyone that finishes today will get a point. Get after
Okay, he's
it.
moving. He's moving.
There he goes. Good. Good on the man. Kovac has fallen off of Russell Allen and Bailey Kish battle in front.
Pit window is now closed.
And you heard it there, folks. The pit window is now officially closed. Felt like it was open for a long time, right, guys?
Here was, Captain.
Like 4 times longer. Bailey Kish in the Bendy Brew Ghost Rider Racing Audi is just nursing this position. Was qualified in like P5 and hanging out in P14 at the moment.
You're right. Those mid-race fights really hurt.
It's a big time suck when you're battling on track. I'm telling you.
That fight for P3 keeps spicing up.
It
They
is for
are
certain.
4 tenths apart.
Colin Shea's doing everything he can to keep this battle as honest as possible. But he has to be careful because the grid behind Crown, Molyneux, and Michi are all within 3 seconds of him. So if he has a mistake on track, he not only loses his ability to take Kreska, but he loses several positions in the process. Rain Bunker in the chat understands that Wong has been absolutely through the ringer by driving the Lamborghini in seasons past. So now being in the very stable BMW has made him a absolute beast of a driver.
Crown is catching up to Shea fairly quickly. I think we might see a 3-horse race here pretty soon.
And he's towing along Molyneux and Michi. We might have a 5-car battle here if it gets to that point. But you're right, they're lapping about 0.3 faster per lap at the moment. Especially now that Shea is right on the back of Kreska, it's going to get even slower between these two. It's inviting danger.
How many laps do we have left? Maybe 4 more?
4, maybe 5, depending on when the winner. Oh, Colin Shea getting cheeky by flashing it. But yeah, 4 or 5, depending on where the leader is at the point the zeros come across the clock.
Just thinking on Shea's behalf, how many opportunities does he have left to pass?
This late in the race, anything can go. We've seen drivers lose it for simply just applying the throttle a little bit too much.
Does commentator's curse come into play here?
I think so. Patches O'Houlihan has requested that we take a gander at Mike Scott. Evan, can you give the man some love?
Mike Scott up in P8 right now, holding it down. Got a little bit of clear air in front and no pressure behind. He might be able to catch up to Molyneux and Michi, actually, who we just mentioned fighting close together. Could bring him into that battle for P6 and 7 there.
Generally, it's close across the board all the way down to about P32. Everybody's still scrapping for those final points.
You can see in the shot there's a healthy gaggle of cars streaming down the front straight that everyone's keeping each other honest. Travis Robinson's asking what happened to Jeffries. Jeffries has found himself out of the race?
Is no longer in the race.
Out of the race. Wasn't he in chat? He was in chat. You're right. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together.
I didn't either.
Jeffries, speak to us. What happened, my guy? I didn't see anything. Speaking of not seeing something, we're going 3 wide here into the S's. Not 3 wide, but 3 in tandem. We have Paul A. Hartman leading the crew here. And we have Al Latufo, Bailey Kish, and Russell Allen all right in line with one another. You'll love to see it. And then Paul A. Hartman is hoping to keep all 3 of these drivers at bay. Four minutes
A
left.
lot of pressure.
Yeah, crazy pressure. At this point, Duran, how are your tires feeling?
Clapped. Pretty bad. I mean, you gotta start taking 130R very differently at this stage of the game. You can still put in decent times, but you definitely feel it in the fast corners.
I was doing about 1 or 2 seconds a lap slower just because I was nursing the specific corners that you were talking about. Because if you have put a foot wrong, you end up with a car plowing into barrier. Oh, Evan, you see what Travis Robinson's put in the chat?
Great bloody drives last night. AMR Club represent. Goddamn right, Trev.
And he speaks the truth. Tyler's been the one holding me back this entire time. Like, I wouldn't really spell out Tyler, but the Honda NSX definitely was the crux of my driving style. I am a big fan of stable platforms like the AMR and the BMW, and the Honda is a driving experience on a knife's edge. And if you drive with slip angle, you can really squeeze out a bunch of time, but that's just not my driving style.
It's fast until you end up backwards.
Yeah, needless to say, I am a much happier camper. The grass is certainly greener, and Evan treats me right, if you know what I'm saying.
Thanks, Doug. I do appreciate you.
No kidding. And Kinger, you are right. There is a 23-second gap to P2. What you're looking at is Mr. Sir earning himself a D1 promotion. That's exactly what you're looking at. But the rest of the grid is very spicy. You take away Mr. Sir, the other largest gap is 7 seconds between P2 and P3, which is a marginal difference in the grand scheme of a 60-minute race. Everyone else is all over each other. I mean, right now you're looking at P12, 13, 14, and 15, all within a second of each other on what is the second to last lap of this race. Evan is a bowl of hot stew on a crisp winter's evening. Oh,
Wow.
just me in a little fuzzy blanket, a nice like neutrally scented candle next to me while I enjoy my chowder. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Oof.
That's nice. Puppy in my lap. Oh yeah.
You live in Florida. Do you even get that opportunity?
No, it's boiling hot constantly. The only time it cools off, we get a warning. Oh boy, we have a
no.
moment. We have
Carnage.
a moment. I try and get wholesome in talking about comfy blankets, but I'm looking at something dangerous here. Side by side. Oh boy, big moment. That was Curtis Lee, Nathan Schaefer, and yeah, who else was collected in that? I want to say Kovac also. That was rough. But Nathan Schaefer's back at it again, and Curtis Lee is following firmly behind. So these guys have found themselves back on track. And Stefik, Mr. Sir is not Diego. Mr. Sir is Mr. Sir. And it's me, Mr. D1 Sir, in the near future, I promise. But more importantly, Colin Shea, it is the final lap of the race. He is 1/10 back in Spoon. Can he get the job done? This is the penultimate lap. The leader, Mr. Sir, is crossing the start-finish line right now. This is your final lap. Push, push. Kinger gets it. Insert Spider-Man meme where they're just pointing at each other. Yes. Mr. Sir is Diego Fibras Casas confirmed.
Oh, no.
Was that Curtis again?
No, this was DJ Watts. Tried to park the bus on the hairpin and just gets mopped. Oh, he didn't even make it to the camera post. He's barely framed.
He got pushed through, unfortunately. You hate to see it.
Man, rough show there for Curtis and DJ.
Oh, Kodromo, we can have the same pick if you want. I'm willing to share. Well, Colin Shea is bleeding some time through the S's here. He must be having a hard time with his tires compared to Kreska, because Kreska is getting away a bit. But Crown and Molyneux are battling through Sector 1 also on the last lap of this race. Alright, everyone watching in chat, give me some love for the D2 drivers that put on an absolute phenomenal show tonight. Oh, Double T has a yellow flag moment in the final bit of this
Oh,
race too,
no.
falling down. Evan picked that up while I'm looking at the top leaders here. Oh, gets bumped.
no.
Also barely makes it to the camera stand. A Plan E Racing driver just took him out, cold-blooded.
You do not like to see that.
We're gonna attribute that to the baggage.
Something you
Trademarked.
gotta train out. Something you gotta train out for certain. Okay, Colin Shea is on the back. Congratulations to Mr. Sir as he crosses the line. 22 seconds. That is a win for him. Congratulations. We have Wong crossing the line right now. Nope. Nope. Soon. Oh man, Colin Shea is so close. And so is Crown and Molyneux behind. This is going to be your order though. Wong finishes in P2. Congratulations. Kreska crosses the line right now for P3. Colin Shea right behind. And following closely behind is Crown, Molyneux, Michi. I mean, just like this. I'm going down the order. Scott finishes. Doug Lee. Austin Gardner rounding the final corner here. I'm literally clicking through the grid here. That's how fast they're on top of each other. Austin Gardner, Damiani, Paul A. Hartman, Al Latufo, Bailey Kish, Russell Allen. And then there's a little bit of a gap between that and Austin Sawyer. But nice job to the gang. Austin Sawyer picks up P16. Super Dave, followed closely by Nick Wagner, gets in for 18 and 19. Navarro crossing. Schaefer, Curtis Lee, Robbie Toddy, Turner Johnson, and now the grid's going nuts. Alex Chilcutt, Rod Flo, oh my goodness. My leaderboard's going nuts. Matt Morrison, Jason Allen, Eric Boardman, DJ Watts. We have Polyak for P30, Lee for P31, Fire Queso P32. Evan, start working on finding me some interviews while we're getting on this. But great job to the gang today, putting on an absolutely killer performance. Nicely done. This is what you're looking at today. These are your positions. Right now, Mr. Sir and Wong are technically both in the silver split, which is disgusting. And then we have a Crown for P3. And then for the gold split, you're looking at Kreska, Shea, and Michael Scott. But congrats to the big grid tonight. 44 drivers showed up. We finished with 40. You'll love to see it.
Let's.
I'm looking and looking for our podium finishers, and I do not see them yet. They're
probably all hiding out in their individual little team chats. They'll
they
come
are
around.
hiding.
They'll come around. They always do. We're getting a lot of love for the Bendy Brew product in our chat. I need some kickbacks from all these sales here, but let's take a look here. Who can we steal? You're right. There's not very many people that are available at the moment. What in the world is going on?
Everybody's hiding. They don't want to celebrate yet. They're celebrating with their teammates right now, I guess.
Good on them. Yep. Well then, let's pick someone fun out of the crowd. If you guys had to invite somebody to the booth, who would you pick? Chat.
Land Shark.
Who do you want to talk to? You want to talk to Land Shark?
We could talk to Land Shark. I see P3 Poal Kreska is in race review 1.
Okay.
If we want to talk to him.
Oh, they want to talk to Land Shark. Let's see if we can get him. I know there's no notice. Oh,
And he
oh,
left.
oh. Yeah, probably doesn't want to talk about the performance tonight, and that's a-okay. That's perfectly fine. I totally get it. We are going to commend him for sticking with it, not to grill him. We have D. Lee requested. Is D. Lee available?
I do not see Doug Lee in any chat. Nope.
All right, well then let's
Nope.
just take this time to thank all of our D2 drivers and for a great performance. And ultimately, it was a very clean race, all things considered. It was very tight grid, like I suspected it would be, based on the data that we had. And what I can tell you is that I'm very excited for what the rest of season 5 is going to deliver. How about you guys?
Yeah, that was a killer first race to start off season 5. We predicted it in quality just based on their times. These guys are packed like Pringles in a can, just one after the other. And we definitely got a lot of side by side racing, bumper to bumper racing tonight. If this is anything of a sign of what we have to come, the D2 competition championship this season is going to be incredible to watch. I'm actually really looking forward to sticking with this one.
Yeah, I think that the points battle by the end of it's going to be extremely tight. It's going to be a good time. Definitely recommend everyone to tune back in.
Gonna be spicy. Cool. Well, if you guys want to, if you're watching the stream tonight and you're not already a part of SRA, you can join simply by going to simracingalliance.com and clicking on Getting Started, and that will walk you through the process of racing with us. We do accept new drivers all the way up to week 7, so you have plenty of time to get involved. And we have 6 division splits. This is Division 2 tonight. So we have everything from North America's Aliens all the way down to someone who picked up Assetto Corsa Competizione yesterday. So come on down. We are very friendly to all those across the spectrum of pace and skill. And ultimately, I am very happy with the amount of support we've been getting this season already, and I look forward to even more of it as the season continues. So thanks to all of you, and we're going to call it a night. Gentlemen, any parting words?
I think accents are a possibility next week. Good racing also might be present. But other than that, thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.
It was a fun time. It's good to be back and watching the races live here with you guys. Like I said before, this D2 championship of the season's looking like it's gonna be a tight one, which is just awesome. So thank you all for tuning in.
Love to see it. Well, everybody, will catch us next week. Do you guys recall what track we're doing next week?
We will be at the Nürburgring.
At night.
Ooh.
That's kind
Spicy.
of spicy.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Cool. We'll see you guys next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Tune on in, and we will catch you then. Thanks, everybody.